culture, read all about it. Oddball returns on air. Izzy Gutierrez, Amin Elhassan here. Thanks, mister. Someone just gave me a nickel.
What century are we in?
I don't know. Welcome to Oddball. Got a great show for you guys today.
I want to get ahead on something. I'm sorry to interrupt you before the show even starts. I'm sorry.
What are we doing?
But all I've been seeing all day long for the last couple of days, and it's been driving me crazy, it's everybody jumping on the Amin Thompson bandwagon, and it's like a
big game.
It's a big game. It's all big games. But I just want to remind people, go to my Instagram, check my profile, and click on a link. You'll see the second story I wrote about the Thompson twins. The first one was August 31st, 2002. And let me tell you a little something about this story too. I would have said in that story, hey, these two are awesome. They're going to be two of the greatest players of all time. I had editors walk me back on adjectives I was using because they didn't trust me and my basketball opinion. That's why it didn't say on there, they're going to be amazing. They're going to be so great. Even though I tried to pitch it so much, everybody who's on this bandwagon, Bobby Marks, I see you. Everybody who's jumping on this bandwagon, I'm planting my flag on the island. It's Thompson Island, right? You used to be on Miami Heat Island.
Yeah.
I am on Thompson Island. This is my domain, okay? If you want a ticket, you're going to have to ask before you tweet about them, okay?
First of all, I'm accused of navel gazing a lot. This is next level, including you actually gazing at your navel right there.
I mean, the sun was really in my eyes. If you really zoom in, it's painful eyes. I'm crying a little bit. But yeah, what else are you going to wear to an island other than jeans and no shirt?
Look, I think the world already knows you're in the tank for the Thompson twins. This part where you got to be like, no, I was in the tank before everybody else.
It needs to be known. It needs to be known. You can't just be giving him all his flowers and say, oh, he's going to be great. It should say, hey, Israel Gutierrez said he's going to be great. That's fair.
All right. From something from 2022, let's get to 2025. The Jimmy Butler saga continues.
That didn't start in 2022, it feels like it.
It might have, for all we know. On Monday, Miami suspended Jimmy Butler indefinitely after he walked out of a team practice. Check that tweet from the official Miami Heat account. What did they say? I can't even read it.
It said he walked out of practice.
It says a lot. There it is. The Miami Heat are suspending Jimmy Butler without pay effective immediately for an indefinite period to last no fewer than 5 games. And then they couldn't even fit it all in one tweet, ladies and gentlemen. They came with a second tweet. The suspension is due to a continued pattern of disregard of team rules, engaging in conduct detrimental to the team.
Wait a second. Does that mean that the Miami Heat didn't pay to get the extra character there on X? They're just kind of doing, nope, I'll just do another tweet.
They've got the gold check mark. I thought they allowed for that.
Interesting.
Intentionally withholding services. This includes walking out of practice earlier today. That language, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is very important because it allows them to fine him. We talked about this, I think, a week ago. 191.6th of his salary for each game missed versus 110th. That's a new thing in the collective bargaining agreement that allows them that higher fine rate because
Fractions.
He's withholding services is what they are accusing him of. And per Brian Windhurst of ESPN, more teams are in on the talks now that Jimmy's price has reportedly dropped. Yesterday on the Le Batard show, Greg Cody, God bless him, columnist for the Miami Herald, called Jimmy Butler traitorous.
That's where people are going. I mean,
does it rise to treason?
It might. I mean, I think there's a couple things about it. Like, one, it's lasted so long now where he is just his own worst enemy, Jimmy Butler. Like, this is the looks that you are getting from other players, from, even around the league, current players. When you miss a flight, it's like, I don't know. When you walk out of a shoot around just because you're being moved to the bench when everybody knows you weren't trying too hard, that's a terrible look. And so the fans are quickly turning on him.
Isn't this just like, you know how like people on the internet, celebrities, right? I think of someone like Chrissy Teigen, for instance. Mm-hmm. Like most celebrities are like, hey, you suck, you look dumb. And the tweet never gets seen and people just move on in life. But then people like Chrissy Teigen are like, nope, I have time today. And I feel like that's what the Miami Heat are doing. Where most organizations would be like, this guy is contract detrimental. You know what? Stay home. We're going to pay you. We're going to figure out a deal, but we just don't want you around the team anymore. The Miami Heat are like, nope, you're going to show up. And when you don't do exactly what we say, we're going to hit you with a fine. We're going to hit you with another suspension. This is all like real petty Olympics, right?
But it's as if they were prepared for this the whole time. It's like, hey, we've seen this happen to other teams. How can we look good, do good, and come out of this looking good? And that's by simply saying, hey, Come on.
Do they look good?
Yes. If you're Jimmy Butler and you're not trying, you're saying you're not going to try because we didn't get you a star over the last few years. That's nonsense. You're going to walk out. And here's another one where the fans can, certainly Miami Heat fans can sort of find just the beauty in this, right?
Right.
Who was placed in the starting lineup ahead of him?
Haywood Highsmith.
Haywood Highsmith over me was the joke because it was, Tobias Harris over me when they knocked out the Sixers. Haywood Highsmith believes in his heart and soul, and it might be true, that the reason he's on the Miami Heat is because he was on the Philadelphia 76ers team that was here played against the Miami Heat during Dwayne Wade's last home game. Okay. There was one play late in that game. Haywood Highsmith was on that team. So was Jimmy Butler, by the way, where Dwayne was clearly trying, I think on a break, trying to go off the backboard to himself.
Right.
Haywood Highsmith broke that play up. In the game that everybody is celebrating Dwayne Wade, Haywood Highsmith said, no, that's not going to happen on my watch. And he believes that is the reason the Miami Heat kept an eye on him and that 2 years later he is back and has been in a Miami Heat uniform. Replacing Jimmy Butler, the guy who is in there not trying very hard, clearly, replacing him with the guy who tries hard even in Dwayne Wade's farewell tour. That is absolute poetry if you're the Miami Heat.
What's hilarious? First of all, as you're saying that, in my mind, I'm imagining, remember the scene in Blue Chips where they're all sitting there watching film and they're like, no, not my guy, Tony. And they're whining and fast forwarding and seeing, why is he looking at the clock? Why does he keep checking the clock? I have Pat Riley, Adam Simon, Andy Ellsberg, and Spo all in that same room with that small boob tube television, right? From the 1990s, right? Fast forward and whining like, wait a second. He's breaking up the play. Look, he's breaking up the play.
Exactly. For the younger audience, Blue Chips, it's a movie. It basically tells you about NIL before NIL. Absolutely. And Shaq was in it. And
absolutely. And the critics hated it because it was too
so
real.
It was
too
good.
real. Like, no one pays players like that. Like, yes, they do. But I digress. So you said Highsmith over me. Kevin Love, of course, jumps in and he has to post more. His Instagram, I swear to God, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen Kevin Love's Instagram yet, just go in there and scroll through it. You can follow the entire story through just videos from different movies. And by the way, Kevin Love told The Athletic, I'm limiting myself in the movies I select because I don't want to freak people. I say, I can go all the way back to Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin clips. And I'm like, Kevin, I would pay money. Izzy, I would pay money.
I mean,
for the Kevin Love, like unfiltered, give me like Lenny Riefenstahl, like movie makers of the like yesteryear version of his Instagram story.
The thing I love about it is I'm calling it like the Blair Witch Project or the Kevin Love Project because I can't tell what's real. I can't tell what's not. Does he love Jimmy Butler? Does he hate Jimmy Butler? Does he love being here through all this because he can do all this? Or does he hate it because he came here to make other finals runs? It's all like breaking the fourth wall, but not really. It's very good. Very well done by Kevin Love.
All right. So while Jimmy Butler has been the biggest name on the market, there's a new name on the market now, Izzy. I don't know if you saw this.
I did.
De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah. That one's an interesting one, too, because just to sort of jump off that Heat conversation, he's a guy who reportedly, supposedly, allegedly wants to team with Bam Adebayo again, as they were in college.
He found a new name, I think.
Well, Hector Banana Boat, was that Banana Bread? I forget what his name was. But that guy in San Antonio is the other guy that he's linked to. And immediately when you start saying that, it's like, oh, yeah, that one makes more sense. For De'Aaron Fox's long-term potential, that one makes a lot more sense.
Yes. Look, if I had to pick, like who am I going to take a ride to the party with, right? Oh, Bam's here and he's got his pickup truck. It's a nice Ford F-150. It's a 2023. It's a brand new model, like nice. It's got some bells and whistles. And then it's like Victor Wembanyama pulls up in his Bugatti Veyron, and I'm like, how many times am I going to get in a Bugatti? I got to get in this one.
I thought you were going to say a Ford 250.
Oh,
that's still an upgrade,
wow.
Right?
That's the one with like 8 wheels, right?
I'm not really a truck guy, but I think so.
No, but it's on paper, it sounds amazing. Am I alone in thinking like, I don't think it, I mean, like, I get it. A lot of people can be like, hating on De'Aaron Fox, right? But I think I have a very solid base, which was the origin of my conflict with him, which it sounds so weird to begin with, was I don't think he plays winning basketball. And all he has to his name as far as being a winner on this level is a year and a half, pretty much. And the guy who was responsible for a lot of that, they ran him out of town. So what are we really talking about? Is this guy supposed to elevate Victor Wembanyama, or is it the opposite? It's the idea that Victor Wembanyama is so great, he's going to make stars out of people. And De'Aaron Fox is already a star in this league, that Wembanyama is going to take him to another level.
I think that's the thinking. I think Victor Wembanyama is the yoga block that you need, right? So it's like, oh, I can be pretty good, but wow, I could. You ever done yoga? You need the block because you can't stretch the same.
I remember from like a year ago when I was doing yoga. Yeah.
He's the yoga block versus if you go to Miami, you have to be, at least in theory,
he's got to be
ready to win. You've got to be that guy. But the reason I'm not ready to assign somebody I don't play winning basketball is when you spent your entire career with the Sacramento Kings. And I understand they won. I understand you had Mike Brown. I feel like and he was a guy, and I know this from a little bit of intel in Sacramento, before they started winning, so miserable. Like so miserable. He did not want to be that guy that got stuck in sort of the Devin Booker mode early in his career. And you saw obviously how important it was for him to start winning. I think you put him in a winning situation, you can teach a lot of those loser habits out of him.
I think two things. Number one, when you are the best player, like you bear some of that responsibility. Things are the way they are because you perpetuate the things that are happening, right? Number two, I would say is like if we think about him and where he was on this team when they got good, when they started winning, was he their best player? I would argue no. Was he their focal point? I would argue no.
I would stay in the ring and argue there a little bit with you.
You think Sabonis is like a second?
I think they're able to run their offense through Sabonis, and I think he's an above average center at almost everything that he does, certainly in terms of passing and seeing the floor. But I think a lot of guys could do that and put up those numbers.
Hell no. You think a lot of guys can do what Sabonis does as opposed to De'Aaron Fox? A lot of guys go there, jack shots, and shoot 32% from three? I think there are a lot more column B than column A.
I think where you're putting De'Aaron Fox is just what he's had to do this whole time. I'm putting De'Aaron Fox as, hey, it's a fourth quarter. I got to stop this guy. I have a hard time stopping him. I will utilize that.
I'm going to tell you right now. So you brought up Devin Booker. The difference between De'Aaron Fox and Devin Booker is that I think Devin Booker, even when they were bad, was trying to do the things that would help them win at some point. So he's not a point guard. He played point. He became a better passer as a result. He became a better defensive player as a result. De'Aaron Fox, when that first year Mike Brown, they were playing well, and they asked him, and even though Mike Brown had him playing the best defense he'd played in his career and had a shot selection a lot better that first year at least, they asked him, he's like, what's different? He's like, nothing's different. He thinks like, oh, no, like, I'm like, no, there's a difference. And by the way, way back when everyone mocked me and stuff, the comp I made was with John Morant. Guess when he's healthy and everything's all right, guess who does the things to make his team win?
So based on your assessment of him, is he better suited for the long term with Victor, or is he better suited plug and play on a winner, do what you can? Or are you saying he is a completely formed basketball player, nothing's going to change? Which one of those two teams he's better?
If I'm Rich Paul, I want him with Victor Wembanyama because I think I would bet on the greatness of Victor Wembanyama bringing out the best in my client.
If he is who you say he is, I'd want him on the Miami Heat. Say, hey, we'll cover for you on some of those other deficiencies. Fourth quarter, you're our guy. Everybody's gonna love you.
If I'm Rich Paul, I don't want him to come to Miami because I don't know how. Look, if you thought Mike Brown was hard, the hell you think is going to happen here?
Well, to be honest, if I'm Rich Paul, I'm retiring. I don't need any more credits. I'm good.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about an injury that'll shake up the Eastern Conference. Welcome back to Oddball. Amin Elhassan, Izzy Gutierrez. And Izzy, before the break, I teased an injury that would shake up the Eastern Conference. And I wasn't being facetious because Jalen Johnson for the Atlanta Hawks is out for the rest of the year. The torn labrum. He's had to have surgery to repair that. Look, there's the tweet from my buddy Chris Haynes. Johnson's been top 5 on the DraftKings Sportsbook for odds to win most improved player for most of this season. His development was a catalyst for the Hawks refresh, especially defensively, the versatility he brings to the table. If you look up their record when he plays, they are excellent. When he doesn't, and that gives you the 500-ish record they have right now. So, despite the injury, does this season go down as a success for Jalen Johnson?
Yeah, absolutely, because most people have figured out who he is this season. Yeah. And my favorite thing to do during a season at any point, just to see how sharp or how close I've been paying attention, is quick, Izzy, give me or give yourself the top 3 most improved player candidates for this season. And right now, I can't give you 3. I think I can give you 1, maybe 2 with Jalen Johnson, the other one being Peyton Pritchard. Because he's like 6th man and most improved candidate right now. Do you have a 3rd?
He's got, let's see, most improved. Oh, man.
See, it's like going to a jukebox.
Yeah.
You know all your
you
favorite
know,
songs.
but then it's like, I can't think of any songs. Yeah.
Not sure.
That's a good point. Goga Batadze. Goga Batadze in Orlando.
I think you said a name. I'm kidding.
Gesundheit. Who does this help?
In the Eastern Conference?
Yes.
I mean, it probably helps sort of Miami, Detroit, Indiana, like that mix of, because, that's part of the reason I wanted to make Atlanta a dark horse is they had a Jalen Johnson, a guy, or Dyson Daniels, guys who can sort of defend really well around Trae Young. You lose one of those, you start to lose dark horse status for me. So I think everybody else that's sort of racing for that number 6 slot, I would say, because 1 through 5 in the East is pretty locked in if you conclude Orlando as that 5th.
Yeah. By the way, I will give you another name of someone who benefits, and that's Zachary Risache. Because now I get to start, and everyone has said that Alexar is the best Frenchman rookie in the league, but I will come in, and I will play more, and I will do more, and we will win more, and I will score more, and all of these things will give me Rookie of the Year if it is not Kelelwer.
What does it sound like when he's talking to Victor Wembanyama?
Oh, my God. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? C'est bien ça, okay, c'est bien, okay, d'accord, Cade, by the way, Cade McNown.
Wow.
Cade Cunningham. Cade McNown.
Classic. UCLA.
Yo, what the hell is going on?
I think I used to have a Cade McNown jersey. Did he wear number 26 or something?
My brain just went into like the time machine from earlier when we were talking about, hey, extra, read all about it. Cade McNown
signs with the, I don't even know who.
Cade Cunningham is a lock for MIP. Minus 115 on the DK Sportsbook app. All right, let's move on. Izzy, to our contractually obligated, I don't know if we've ever done one of these with you. We had in our contract, it's written in there. We have to talk about Bronny. At every opportunity we have to talk about Bronny. Lakers were beating the Sixers 17-9 with 4:33 to go in the first quarter. I love how we're putting this on Bronny. JJ Redick subs Bronny in. Bronny played 15 minutes last night for the Sixers. He ends 0-5 from the field with 3 rebounds, 3 turnovers, and a single dime. Here's JJ Redick talking about it after the game.
Just him giving us energy, I think, was the goal. Maybe put him in a tough spot, flying up yesterday and nationally televised game and Philly, all that stuff. It's, he didn't play well, but I have confidence in him, but didn't provide that at a high level.
He was -8, by the way. By the way, shout out to the JJ Redick yawn while talking. I'm telling you, anytime he says something like, that means something else. There's more to it than that.
I mean, who was the DAP master? Who was that on the Golden State Warriors back in the day? Do you remember who that was?
Kent Bazemore?
Kent Bazemore. You can bring energy and never actually have to step on the game floor. Like, you can just do that from the sidelines. If that's what you wanted to do with Bronny, you don't have to actually put him in the game, much less make him your immediate, the first guard off the bench was? He was at least the first or second guard off the bench, replacing Gabe Vincent minutes. That was definitely putting him in a bad spot because he's not just anybody. As you said, everything was going to be examined, and now they have so much more footage of bad Bronny James.
Izzy, do you want to know what the tough spot he put Bronny James in?
NBA?
An NBA game.
Yeah.
It's okay. This is the part I don't get. It's okay for him just to be a G League player for now. I'm not even one of those people who say, oh, he's trash, he'll never be good. I'm just saying right now, it's okay for all of us to say, this guy is not an NBA caliber player. He needs time to develop. Playing in the G League, he just scored 31 points, his career high the other night. Good. Keep doing that. Yes. Keep building confidence. Learn who you are. Learn who you are as a player so that when you come up here, now we know where you fit in. But he goes out there and I'm watching him play and I'm like, this is someone who's not good enough. And it puts everybody in a tough spot because we have to talk about it in a way that's not bluntly honest.
Have you heard of the get ready games that he was talking about? Because when I heard him say that, I thought he was talking about the G League, but he was talking about get ready games like amongst other Lakers, right?
Like in practice.
The hard practice games. I mean, I just call them a hard practice, right? A hard scrimmage.
But it's not real, man.
Exactly. Who on that, could you, other than Anthony Davis, who's had a little bit of fun with the Bronny James stuff, could you imagine Rui Hachimura swatting the hell out of Bronny James and saying, get that out of here?
Izzy, let me tell you right now. We used to play pickup games. When I worked for the Phoenix Suns, we played pickup games on game days on the game floor. Me, the trainers, some assistant coaches, Dan Marley, guys like that.
Right? That jump shot?
No, actually, you know what? That's why I was draining. That was back then. And the back to the basket game was also immaculate. Okay. But I digress. One time, the owner of the Suns, the then owner of the Suns, Robert Sarver, comes down and decides, I want to play. And so they're like okay.
Vladimir Putin over there.
But here's the funniest This is how, like, these, look right in here. Those ass Mike Elliott and Jay Gaspar and the rest of those guys, they all quickly said, I got him. And I was like, I realized it too late. It's one of those things where everyone touched their nose. And I'm like, I'm the last one. I had to guard Robert. So now I'm like, all right, what do I do? I'm like, kind of like, all right, I can't not guard him, but I also can't really guard him. I just have to be there. And so at one point, I'm in help. They swing it to him, and I yelled out, because I'm instinctively doing this, I yelled out, Haslam. Haslam was the call that we used to make when there's someone out there who can't shoot. And so just let him shoot. And so he shoots and he misses. And then he looks at me and he says, just remember, Haslam has a job.
There are so many other players you guys could have chosen.
No, but this
you chose a multiple time champion.
That was before Haslam learned how to shoot. He learned how to shoot because we made it a call.
The Phoenix Suns?
Dude, we made it a defensive call. Because the whole point of the call was, if Shaq's on the floor and Haslam's on the floor, sag off of Haslam. We're going to sit in Shaq's lap and let Haslam shoot.
Tony Allen was in the league at the time.
Nah, man,
famously, the entire Warriors defense was built on, hey, we don't have to cover that guy.
You're talking about 2015. I'm talking about 2007, man. 2006.
That man hit so many jumpers in a Game 6 clincher against the Dallas Mavericks. Pat Riley told them before the game, you're going to have a great game. He had a great game, and partially because of those jumpers, plenty of other options that you could sag off of.
I love you. 2006, 2007.
Not like I love you.
Non-shooter. Non-shooter. All right, let's get the proper slot. This is the game. It's presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned, because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Oh, yeah. All right, you know the rules of proper shot, proper slot, proper slot, proper slot. Slot machine generates real DraftKings prop bets from tonight's games. If we get to the third spin, we have to take that one. Let's see what the first spin is, Izzy.
All right. I've got a really, really small slot machine here, so let me put on my glasses and I see.
Please don't go into side by side. Just go full. There you go, full screen on it. All right. We've got Anthony Edwards under 4.5 assists. That minus 100? That's plus 100. Plus 100. T-Wolves are playing the Suns tonight. Ant is playing against his hero, KD.
That means he's going to be aggressive.
He's gonna.
He's not giving up that shot to teammates he doesn't trust right now. I don't love this one. I mean, if you're the primary ball handler, you should accidentally get 5 assists a game, but I don't like to bet under, so I kind of want to move on from this.
I don't like to bet unders either. I also don't like to bet anything that involves Julius Randle in there. I just feel like whatever I pick, it's going to go the opposite. So let's go on. Let's get the second spin out there. And it's spinning, and it's spinning, and it's spinning. And slows. We just missed Karl Anthony Towns to Nikola Jokic.
Ooh, I knew that was Jokic.
Over on points, 27.5 points to be exact. That's minus 125 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Nuggets are at Knicks tonight. This is a big game. Knicks defense just shut down the free-flowing Grizzlies offense. This is a game where Jokic might not be able to count on his teammates, is he? Do we have Jokic filling it up?
I mean, he's averaging 30, so you're saying he's going to hit below his average by a couple of points against the Knicks team that is crying for Mitchell Robinson because they need interior defense?
Not a good defense this year. And also, Karl Anthony Towns has shown he gets in foul troubles in these situations. And also, now we get the Precious Achiuwa and Jericho Sims as your backups, or maybe even OG Anunoby playing undersized, or even Josh Hart undersized as mine. I'm banging the over on this one, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm taking this one, too.
Yeah. I've learned.
Can we get like a rabbit? Can we see what the third one was, like in poker? Or
we're locked in. We're locked in on this. Let's just see what the third one is.
Oh, okay.
Let's just see it. But we're locked in on this one. This is ours. Even if this one is like, hey, Devin Booker over 2 points, we cannot switch. We're just being curious here. And the curiosity is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 2.5 threes.
Ooh, I'm glad we stuck with you.
Yeah, plus 220. The Thunder are playing the Warriors. Warriors, real struggle bus. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, not exactly a great three-point shooter.
No. When he's on, but he's on, I want to say 37, 38%. Not that great. 2.5. It's a big number. That was that same number, I think, for Dylan Brooks last night, and a game where he's coming off of 10 makes. And I was like, oh, clearly you got to hit the over on that. And I looked, and I think his previous 15 games, he hadn't hit more than 2. So I was like, ooh, I'm a little nervous. I think he had 4 again last night, so I should have taken that one. But
broken clock is right twice a day, and Izzy, you missed both times. And that's all the time we have for the show today. Extra, read all about it. Izzy's terrible at gambling. Oddball comes back to you tomorrow. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I didn't time this really well. Yeah.
Was I a mermaid the whole time? Because I didn't really notice that. I'm not sure if I love this picture anymore.
I thought that was the train tracks from the original photo shoot. Just leading up to you.